Welcome back to the 2025 AVP WAUPACA Open Contender Series event here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm Taylor Wright, and I'll be joined shortly by Rob Espiro coming to us from the California coast. I'm down here on the right coast of Jacksonville, Florida. And what a matchup we have here. Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly taking on Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten. What a phenomenal matchup we're going to have here. A lot of storied past between these teams just in terms of where they played. We've got a Florida pair-up of Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten playing some time at Florida Atlantic, both of them. Megan Rice also playing some time on the indoor side at Florida. Molly Phillips at Texas, a national champion on the indoor side, now playing out of USC. And Kate Reilly coming to us from Stanford. And Rob Espiro, the knowledge and player background info that he has on these players is just second to none. So I will not pretend to have even a tenth of the knowledge of how these ladies got to where they are in their playing career. I'll lean on him when he's able to jump into the stream here. I'm just going to talk about how these teams match up. Molly Phillips, 6'5", a massive, massive frame at the net. Molly Phillips, a middle blocker for the indoor team at Texas, now transferring over, and obviously she's been playing some beach for a while at several NORCECA events and making a name for herself in the beach as a very formidable blocker. Kate Reilly coming in at 5'9", the defender who loves to scoop and score, as we've seen all season so far, taking a fifth at Denver. She had many big-time plays in clutch moments. Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten, both playing a little bit of split blocking. We've seen Megan Rice take over the blocking role more as Kendra staying down in defense. Kendra coming in at 5'6", and Megan Rice at 5'11". I would like to bring up one thing, which is this is a little bit of a game of the young guns versus the veterans, in Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten having several seasons on the AVP, and by several I mean Kendra coming in at 18 seasons here in the AVP Tour, and Megan Rice coming in at 10, with this just being the second season for Molly Phillips. Kate Reilly playing six seasons, 12 tournaments, so a good level of play there over a couple of years, but certainly some veteran versus young gun matchup here. And we're going to get underway here as our head official on the stand has officially called them to the center and asked them to get playing. So Kendra VanZwieten back to the line to serve.
Well, Taylor, be interesting to see this matchup here because as you pointed out, it is a battle of the young guns versus the seasoned vets, and with the way that we've been seeing in NCAA Collegiate Beach, we've been seeing more of these standouts come into AVPs, really pressing some of the long-time talents that have been in the game. And it's been fun to see how much these players have developed, not only physically and mentally, but their volley IQ. As you see VanZwieten, that's a vet ace right there into the seam.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back.
And if you're looking at both Kate Reilly and Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly, a standout at Stanford Beach up until 2024, decided to take her, 23, took her skills to indoor for UCLA women's indoor team, and then reverse for Molly. She's a 2-time national champion middle blocker at Texas, and then came to USC Beach last season, and obviously they're now back together pursuing beach full-time.
You know, Rob, I was part of the demo team for the AVCA convention when Texas won their title down in Tampa. And so I was there as one of the demo players doing some stuff on the men's indoor side, and then we got to go to the semi and the final and got to see Molly actually play in person there for Texas's title. And man, what a fire she brings to the game. When she goes up and she gets a block, or she gets a big play, she's lighting it up, and she just brings such a charisma to the court when she's playing.
Well, Phillips is playing with yet another fiery player, more full-time than with Kate Reilly. This is one of those speed dating type things. But she's been playing with Haley Harward on the some international events with beach volleyball world. So be interesting to see what happens within that chemical dynamic with two fiery players in the court at the same time.
Oh, and a miss there by Megan Rice is going to bring us to our side switch, I believe 4-3.
Looking at Phillips walking her way. I mean, that stature at 6'5" is definitely something you cannot coach. And add on the fact that she's got a great volley IQ and blocking sense. That's trouble for opponents on the other side of the net.
You know, they're wearing pretty much matching outfits, but I'm pretty sure we can still keep Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly separate.
Gonna order it up, medium or large? Which one will you take? Actually, large or larger, because Kate Reilly, although listed at 5'9", 5'10", she is a solid jumper out of the sand, and she's been so great in serve receive. So you're thinking, oh, we're going to serve the smaller player. She's going to make sure you pay for it. Roll over the block and out of the diving reach of Molly Phillips. 4-5.
Really interesting quick tidbit. I'm seeing here that Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly played their first match this morning against Jen Divian and Margaret Reilly. Jen Divian, I've actually got to play with Jen in a fours tournament before, and I can tell you that was not an easy task for them. Jen, a phenomenal defender, and even funnier tidbit, that fours tournament, I actually had to play against Cody Caldwell and Caleb Queckel. First match of the day with Jen Divian. So what a strong matchup that was, and a lot of fun. So yeah, Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly taking care of their first set this morning, 2018, 21-16, against what I assume was a rather solid matchup in Jen Divian and Margaret Reilly.
Well, this is a battle of two undefeated teams. This is match number 4 in Pool 4. So Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten, and Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly both stand at 1-1 as they tickle the twine on that ace served by Megan Rice, the mechanical engineer.
And on the flip side of that, looking at the matchup that Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten had this morning, Katie Lindstrom, Adriana Nora, everyone just refers to as Big Red. And so they've already seen one massive blocker on the day. And so it'll be interesting to see how they respond here against Molly Phillips, as Big Red is also well known for her net prowess and her ability to just take away large amounts of court.
You know, looking over at that matchup, that last play, look at Kendra VanZwieten. You know, she's listed at 5'9"-ish or so, and seeing the 6'5" stature of Phillips in front of her, that's taking a lot of space.
Oh, and a big block by Megan Rice there against the 6'5" Molly Phillips.
Rice stands at 5'11", able to get all hands on that ball.
Yeah, that was honestly a great late press by Megan Rice, recognizing the high snap of Molly and just taking away that low seam, putting that ball back down the court.
Rice playing some indoor ball at Florida and playing beach at Florida Atlantic, the former Owl. And she takes out the trash up top.
Yeah, you know, as a commentator, we're told to never take sides, but I'd be lying a little bit if I told you there's not at least 2% extra that I'm loving Megan Rice, being a Florida boy and actually growing up in Gainesville, where the University of Florida is, and being a longtime Gator fan. Megan's going to get a little bit of extra love from you, but Molly, Kate, you guys are ballers, and I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out.
Phillips stuffed up top again by Rice. And I think what it is, Taylor, is you're drinking some Gatorade, perchance?
I am drinking some Gatorade.
Is it a lifetime subscription for any Florida grad or supporter?
It might as well be. Actually, the family that created the Gatorade drink has a very large children's museum in Gainesville that they actually curate and put on a lot of learning things for the youth in the Gainesville area. It's really cool to see them still It's stay involved in the community. It's the Cade family.
Wow. We saw that ace by Megan Rice land right in that corner, putting a stamp on it and leading to our timeout with Megan and Kendra leading Molly and Kate 11-6. And it seems like Megan and Kendra are dialed in early here.
Yeah, honestly, Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten doing exactly what they need to do, which is establish early and really put Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly on their heels. We've seen Molly Phillips and we've seen Kate Reilly separately both get hot and able to really control the tempo of a game once they find their groove. And Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten very smartly recognizing that and kind of going, I would say, all out. You know, we've seen Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten. We actually got to commentate a match together of them playing at Denver where they played very slow to start and almost, played that chess game of, putting their pawns out onto the court, onto the board early and just feeling the other team out. That led to kind of a marathon match there for them. But today they are coming out firing. They're bringing their rooks out from behind the line, and they're showing out some pressure and some plays early on to really put Molly and Kate on their heels.
It just seems like the side of Phillips and Reilly are playing apprehensively, while the worst case scenario, Megan and Kendra are playing pretty well.
Yeah, and Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly, both big, momentum players, I would say, as we talked about. Both of them play with a lot of fire and passion. And so if they can get hot, they're going to be a force to reckon with. But right now, certainly the momentum is the way of Megan and Kendra with another unforced error into the net there by Kate Reilly.
12-6 the score as they wait for the scoreboard to catch up as you're looking at Kendra VanZwieten back to serve. A good showing for Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten last week in Denver. Making it into the elimination bracket. Rice, high line roll, sees where Reilly's at and froze her.
Yeah, let me tell you what, if you're putting a high line over Molly Phillips, it better be high. She's gonna that 6'5" reach, she's gonna get up there and swat it back at you. So Megan Rice smartly putting a little extra oomph on the height of that one.
Jump serve into the seam. Does it fall for an ace? No, it doesn't. Misses long.
Go long there for Kendra VanZwieten. We have our technical timeout.
We see the overcast over at Oshkosh, Wisconsin, site of the WAUPACA Open. Weather is coming in just at right around the mid-70s, but it's the humidity we're watching at 68%. Wind, not so much a factor as you see the banners in the background, but versus Denver, this is pleasant.
Yeah, big time. And an interesting setup here as well. Something I want to mention, so obviously some people tuning in can tell. Typically, this round of games that we'd be seeing here, this modified pool play, would be taking place on Saturday here at WAUPACA, since Saturday is the end-all be-all of grass triples volleyball, and everything on site on Saturday is grass triples. The AVP does run this Contender Series event on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that any of these players that are staying around for the weekend are able to, participate in that grass triples on Saturday. So AVP doing a phenomenal job working with the local staff and the city to kind of push this tournament a little bit earlier into the week and work with their promoters and such to allow these athletes to play in both events.
Reilly on the hybrid. Tests VanZwieten down the line. VanZwieten. Reilly on the pickup. Reilly on the wrist away slapper.
And that, in my opinion, right there is one of the first times that we've truly seen Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly really find a rhythm and a groove. That was a great pickup. Kate Reilly sliding underneath on that high line ball. A great turnaround set by Molly Phillips and a good wrist away by Kate Reilly. So if they can start dialing up those transitional plays we're going to see a much tighter set all of a sudden.
Excellent serve into the seam.
So all of a sudden we had an 8-13 technical timeout, and a quick 2 points brings us to 10-13 now, just a 3-point deficit where we were 5 just a few moments ago.
Kate Reilly, the former Stanford Cardinal and indoor Bruin. Cross-court blast by Megan Rice pops the corner.
Yeah, that's a textbook Mary Wise taught swing for anyone who doesn't know Florida volleyball. Mary Wise being the longtime coach of the University of Florida, just stepping down. She was there for 34 seasons.
Reilly outside over towards Phillips, and she's blocked by Rice. Phillips on the cross-court crack, picked up by VanZwieten. And going for that jumbo was VanZwieten. Reilly got a knuckle on it, but went the wrong direction.
And a great open net dig by Kendra VanZwieten there. Just recognizing that Molly Phillips maybe didn't have quite the approach runway that she was looking for, and so she wasn't able to really get on top of that ball, and just slides up underneath in the crease, making a great pass.
And a shank pass, make that an ace by Megan Rice, 16-10.
You know, anyone watching who's also played middle is just going to chalk that up too. Sometimes middles are just going to do middle things.
Hey, no middle hate, by the way. We're just describing the play, people.
I'd be lying to everyone at home if I didn't remind everyone I am also a middle. And a long service there is going to send Molly back to the line, 11 serving 16. Yeah, I probably should have started with that. I am also a 6'5" middle, and so sometimes I do middle things. So Molly, that comes from a place of love and understanding. Oh, and a big block.
Off the noggin, and Rice hits it into the net.
We're gonna give her half a monster block for that, because it did get played again, but I don't think Megan Rice is ready to play the second ball after getting blocked that hard back into her own body.
I have to stand correct. I kept saying middle, but Molly Phillips is an opposite hitter. My corrections and my apologies. So, figure 6'5" opposite. What a deadly force for the Longhorns indoor.
Oh, a nice chopper there by Megan Rice, finding its way right past the block.
I think I got stuck on the Texas X's. If you've been following Love VB, a lot of Texas middle blockers are representing Love Austin. So they've been tabbed the Texas X's, and with the middle talent that comes out of that program, just get stuck on calling everyone a middle blocker at this point.
I am sure at 6'5" she played middle for at least a couple of seasons in her junior days, as we all know.
I mean, a club coach
but
sees this blip, 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 and then a shoot up and high deck. Oh, there's my middle.
Yep. So Kendra VanZwieten going back to the line, 18-12. Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten certainly well in charge of this first set, with another ace by Kendra VanZwieten against Molly Phillips. There's going to bring up 19-12. Molly, Kate, they just need to find rhythm right now towards the end of this set. This one quickly, looking like it's going to be a goner, and the most you can hope for right now is to find a couple big plays, start to find that rhythm, that momentum that you can build on going into the second set, and try to find an answer for Megan and Kendra.
VanZwieten, the 5'6" defender, going deep to Phillips, and Phillips blocked by Rice, covered by Reilly. Reilly off speed, one hand left dig by VanZwieten off the top of block of Phillips, covered by Reilly. Ball comes over, one hand dig by Rice. Rice getting up the outside knuckle down the seam, picked up by Reilly. Reilly looks, shoots down the line off the pulling Rice.
And that's exactly the type of play I would look for right now for Molly and Kate to get fired up over. That's a good long rally against two veteran players in Megan and Kendra, and to pull out the W in that 1 point there, in my opinion, is a huge win. So let's see if Kate Reilly can dial something up from the line here to try to give her team a little bit more fire going into this, the later half of the last little bit of this first set.
Rice shanks one off to the side, saved by VanZwieten. Free ball misses just wide. Great idea by Rice, but falls out of play.
And a great serve there by Reilly. That thing had some movement on it, kind of coming from the inside seam, pushing out to the upper shoulder of Megan Rice.
VanZwieten being tested in serve receive. And going high line is VanZwieten. We have our first set point.
Yeah, first set point here is going to put, I think, Megan Rice back at the line. She's going to look to close this one out with an ace. I expect them to go after kind of this low inside seam of Molly Phillips. That's been where she's kind of struggled so far.
Rice on the standing float over towards Phillips. High set at the outside, but good touch by Rice, but too much heat by Phillips.
Yeah, Molly Phillips kind of trying to swing down on these last couple balls. That's why she's gotten blocked several times. That one, she kind of flattened her hand out a little bit, went more high hand towards Megan Rice as she was leaning away, getting the tool there as that ball does fall down inbounds. 15 serving 20, Molly Phillips at the line.
Tough serve into the seam, picked up by VanZwieten. VanZwieten looking line and tickles it off the end line. Our first set in the books with Rice and VanZwieten leading 1-0 here in our AVP WAUPACA Open. Taylor, thoughts after one set of play?
Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten doing what they need to do as the veteran players. We saw in the last match on the men's side with Tim Baumgren. Also, you know, kind of just showing up in that veteran space and really just taking care of some points early and winning some points when necessary, but not really doing anything flashy or extra. And Megan and Kendra doing that very smartly here, just playing the ball that they're being given. Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly making some very big, untimely, unforced errors, several aces given up, and several transitional balls not put in bounds. So Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly certainly have the tools to win. That 6'5" blocking frame needs to find its way into this game if they're going to force a third set here. Molly Phillips not really being much of a factor as Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten easily able to cut balls down and around her block. Kate Reilly picking up some great balls though. Couple good high line runs downs. She had a good couple pickups on the cutty, one or two big pickups and some big swing moments. So Kate Reilly doing her best in the backfield. Let's see if she can get a couple more terminal balls after some pickups. Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten just need to honestly keep doing what they've done. They don't need to change anything big. Maybe pick up the service pressure even more as they've established that they know how to get some points in the line, and they could certainly make a very quick run if they're able to pick up the service pressure and really put the ball on Molly Phillips and force her into an early passing rhythm.
Excellent breakdown by you, Taylor Wright. And wanted to point out, I think that Kendra VanZwieten and Megan Rice, familiar with at least Kate Reilly here after playing in Denver last weekend. They actually dropped their modified pool play opening set to Ella Connor, who's playing with Izzy Martinez this week in WAUPACA with Kate Reilly. And then they end up defeating Lindsay Jin and Kylan Loker in their lucky loser match, or the ability to win and become a lucky loser. And then they face off against Emma Donnelly, who stands at 6'5" as well, and Piper Furch, and lose in a 3-set thriller, deuce third set at 17-15. But then they end up, or actually defeated them, and then they faced off against the winners, Avery Jackson and Gina Urango, and we know that was one of the hottest teams last weekend, if not the hottest.
The hottest match I think I've ever had the chance to call or even just watch and be a part of. That final, the final 20 points or 27, or the 22 points of that match were just, you couldn't write a better story.
Oh, without a doubt. You saw Kibbles on that sift dig to the sand. She gets a chance, but she gets stuffed on the trap set. Megan Rice feeding.
Yeah, Molly Phillips trying to roll that one up and just gets a little too anxious, a little too overzealous, putting her a little too tight, especially against the very veteran block of Megan Rice.
VanZwieten serving the 5'6" defender, going over towards his 6'5" Phillips. Ball on the court.
Yeah, for anyone new to beach volleyball at the tournament level, anytime we do have a ball come onto the court, we're going to get a official redo of that last point. No matter what was going on the court, player safety first, and we're just going to go ahead and replay that point. That way there's no rolled ankles or someone not paying attention as they're looking at that ball rolling on.
Phillips, again, new to the indoor games, so to speak. Probably been playing about the last 2 years, but I was going to ask you about the talent in the nation, because we've seen a shift. We're seeing a lot of talent coming from the Texas area, Taylor, which is where Molly Phillips is from, Mansfield, but few really good clubs in the Dallas, Houston, pretty much all over that region.
Yeah, I love talking about that. The hotbed right now of Texas volleyball. Peter Knoll spending a good bit of time down there in Austin and growing a lot as a blocker and setting. Thomas Hurst also coming to us from the Dallas area. And I just bring up those two men's names because the list of women's names, I'd be here all day if I try to mention every good player coming out of the Texas hotbed right now on the women's side. That Dallas and Austin area just exploding right now with facilities and clubs, and Texas, volleyball on the beach side now looking to, make a couple big hires, a couple big pickups on the recruiting side, or looking to, kind of match the energy, as they would say, as the indoor side has, proven so formidable over the last couple of years, taking out 2 national championships. The beach side at Texas now looking to make a push and become a solid name on the beach circuit.
Well, I just need to add that one of our winners in the Denver Open, Avery Jackson from Dallas, Texas. And funny enough, as I spoke to her last night on the podcast interview, where did she come from? She came from coaching a juniors team, because this is juniors tournament time in the South Bay here in California. So she wins, flies back, and is coaching her juniors team, Mad Sand, this week.
Oh man, it is junior season.
I'm sure you're all familiar with that as Megan Rice threading the needle, and we're going to have a poor man's video challenge, so to speak.
Yeah, we're going to get an R1 review here. Yeah, actually, a big shout out to the AVP for what they've been able to do over some of these last events. One thing that doesn't get televised and shown a whole lot is there at the Island last week in Denver, Colorado. There was actually they called it the Mountain West maybe Juniors Championships took place at that same facility. So the AVP was actually on site from Monday all the way through Sunday, running juniors all week at the Island facility. So a big shout out to the AVP and the Island crew for fitting in, several hundred matches throughout that week.
5-3 scoring, that's right. That is a monumental task, running a juniors tournament along with a pro event. But great energy out there at the Island in Denver. Great pickup and reaction by Rice and VanZwieten. Dibbles, Reilly on the right side attack. And getting eaten up by the Sand Monster was Reilly, as VanZwieten goes that area 2 knuckle poke.
Yeah, VanZwieten just so smart with the ball. We saw that last week in Denver on broken plays or any of those, transitional balls where we're just having a long rally. VanZwieten just really able to just dial up a beautiful shot and just find the defender and just shoot the ball away from them last minute.
We got serve go into the net, ties up at 5s, I believe.
Yep. So Molly Phillips back to the line, going to make this serve and then try to find her way up to the net in time to get a block.
VanZwieten on the attack and rolls that into the net.
Yeah, VanZwieten certainly recognizing that, that large area of court taken away by Molly Phillips, trying to thread the needle to the cutty there and just not able to punch that ball high enough.
Deep float over towards VanZwieten. Like clockwork, VanZwieten seeing the opportunity down the line.
Yeah, and so far, Molly and Kate have kept the ball pretty much away from Megan Rice in serve receive, as Megan Rice, well known for her offensive prowess and really has a great arm swing. VanZwieten, just as deadly though, a little bit less flashy on the swing power, but certainly able to dial it up and just what I almost call a GPS shot. Siri, please place this ball in the corner. Goes VanZwieten.
Look at that attempt to dig by VanZwieten off the knuckle by Phillips. Got a sticky ball landing on the backhand of VanZwieten, trying to make that diving save.
I think we have 7-7 here maybe on the scoreboard. Taking a second to update. So we did just see a side switch. Little high line picked up by Reilly.
Down ball, easily picked up by VanZwieten. And tickling the twine is Kendra. I think there's no way she can get that ball over the line because you can see both arms of Phillips reaching high and penetrating over, but somehow Kendra able to navigate over that block. Phillips on the approach and off the cable and down.
Yep. And just a second ago, we heard a third voice here on the stream as Austin Daniels, our on-site correspondent, MC for the AVP, giving a little score shout out. So you'll see Austin kind of pop in and out of the corner of the stream over there. As Rob and myself are both remote for this event.
We're representing our coasts. You the Atlantic, me the Pacific. How about that?
We are the right coast. I like that as you dubbed it.
But it's exciting to be able to see all the volleyball matches streamed courtesy of the AVP, be it on Bally or YouTube. And obviously we're getting more partners involved on the TV side of things in the league.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see what they've been able to do. And big shout out as well to the streamography team. These guys, showing up to all these, grass and sand events and getting us these beautiful stream views and working with myself and Rob and Jacob Justice to bring us in remotely and allow all these matches to be commentated and called, as it's difficult sometimes to work with Rob and I's schedule to get out to these events, and they're able to work with us and let us come in remotely and keep all these matches commentated. Pass by Phillips. Big high snap taken away by Rice again. That's got to be the fourth or fifth block for Megan Rice so far. And I don't think any terminal blocks for Molly Phillips. So far, the 6'5" frame of Molly Phillips struggling in the sand this morning as Megan Rice has showed up at that 5'11", and she's playing like the 6'5" blocker in this matchup.
It's the thing with Megan Rice and this particular prototype of blockers. Usually they may stand 5'10", 5'11", but they've got excellent reading skills and have just been trained well fundamentally.
Absolutely.
Good pull dig by Rice. We'll see what she does to convert. Ball's dug over by Reilly. Second attempt for Rice. Reilly on the over on 2. And look at that, Rice going for the cheeky 2-ball winner.
Again, Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten are simply just beating Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly with knowledge. 100%. They're not truly out athleticizing them. They're not doing anything that's flashy or undefendable by athletic standards. They're just simply playing a smarter version of volleyball, in my opinion. They're picking up the balls that they should be, and in transition, they're just putting smart shots away from the defense, and they're just playing veteran volleyball right now. Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly have shown flashes of greatness, and Kate Reilly still getting some great digs in the backfield, but not really able to convert as much as they need to make this a tight match. They are only down 3, but it certainly feels like much more than 3 with Megan Rice and Kendra VanZwieten, as they are not a high error team, so making a push back against them is going to be a tall task.
It's an excellent point you bring, but I have to drop a teaser trailer because the Volleyball Life just popular with our upcoming 2 matches. And let's just say we are going to be very pleased. Not that we haven't been so far. We'll have a women's pool 5 match 4. Battle of the Undefeateds, Ashley Pater and Sarah Wood against Macy Jerger and Maddie Shields. And then we shift over to the men's side after that. DJ Klasnich and Lev Prima against Marcus Carvallis and David Wyzorik. So we're going to have continued bombing action going on here in our next 2 matches.
Yeah, no shortage of great matchups at WAUPACA. This entire weekend is just going to be filled with some incredible volleyball. 2 days of back-to-back Contender Series matches rolling right into the storied WAUPACA triples.
Rice off the pass and just easily going over the block of Phillips.
Again, Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten just playing very simplistic volleyball and not really forcing anything that's not readily available.
Now, Taylor, if you're a coach for the Phillips Reilly side, what are you telling them here in the second set?
Man, we've got to do exactly what Molly Phillips just did. Swing high away or off the hands of Megan Rice. Stop trying to bounce the ball. The balls that Molly Phillips has gotten blocked on so far have really been when she's just trying to go up and just tattoo the ball. And Megan Rice just too smart of a blocker to give up that ball. We've also got to find some better transitional setting. Right there, we finally just saw it. Kate Reilly, a great dig. Molly Phillips has struggled on that transitional set coming down after the block. She set Kate Reilly off several times and then trapped her several times. So maybe they talked about that in that timeout and really try to find a more consistent set that Kate Reilly is able to go up and turn and burn on. So honestly, they're doing right now what I would ask them to do as a coach, which is find some easier sets and swing smarter. SS is something I like to say to my hitters a lot. Hey, we've just got to swing smarter. Stop trying to swing for the highlight reel. I know there's a camera over there, but no need to make those Instagram reels. Just go earn some points.
Good call, Taylor. And as they've strung together a 3-point run right here, while you were talking, they're doing exactly what you were saying. So, excellent call. Tied up at 13s now after that 3-point run. And you see Molly Phillips beginning to wake up a little more here and become more aggressive offensively. And like that, Megan Rice says, shut up, Rob.
Yeah, but what a touch. I mean, that is, again, I talked about, you've heard me talk about this for quite a few days now over the last couple of weeks, Rob, where there's over 120,000 square inches out there on a court that you're trying to cover as a defender, and your blocker can only cover so many of them. So, honestly, what a great touch by Reilly, making that read that it's going to be an away swing to the line. Gets a hand on it, just can't quite get it up, but a great read by her.
Phillips, soft knuckle. Quick feet by VanZwieten, then she goes high line. Ball saved by the other side. Reilly free balls it deep over towards Rice. Rice slow approach, dragging her feet, so to speak, but hits that wide. Well, you can see her make that adjustment. She wanted a little quicker set, it looked like.
Yeah, and a great move there by Kate Reilly, in my opinion. Obviously, everyone who plays and coaches, we all like to scream, no free balls. But if you absolutely have to give a free ball, I like the move by Kate Reilly, really pushing that free ball deep into the court. So giving Molly Phillips the time to turn around and get set up as a blocker, giving herself time to get set up as a defender. I really like the move there of just forcing that ball very deep and taking away maybe the quick offense.
Reilly off the top of Phillips, cleaned up by Reilly, and ball misses long.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Molly Phillips go up with any kind of overhead attack there, whether it be a knuckle or a flipper, or just some kind of attack up above the shoulders and not allowing, the time of a free ball. That one does tail out, but even if it had been in, I think Megan Rice would have had plenty of time to get to it.
Phillips, good ball to the middle, and gets it in that deep corner off the line.
Yeah, honestly, a very uncharacteristic pull away by Kendra VanZwieten, being a very smart and storied past as a defender, does not typically make those misreads there. So a very untimely error for Kendra.
Ball's broken play. They're out of system. Top spin ball picked up by Reilly. High set over to Reilly. She goes out of play. Trying to do too much on that one there, Taylor, it seemed like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she may not want to hear, but I'm gonna say I think she got scared of the block of Megan Rice. Megan Rice made a late read and late reach into the seam there as the blocker, and I think Kate Reilly saw her inside hand and just freaked out and tried to snap that ball away from that blocking hand, and it resulted in a wide error swing.
Phillips delivering on the off-speed roll. 16s. A very.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, just a lot more fight out of Phillips and Reilly in this one here, Taylor.
Yeah, and they're playing smarter volleyball. It looks like they're going less for the Instagram reels and more for just earning some simple points. And and that one's gonna bounce just out of bounds. I thought that was gonna little sorry not sorry tape love bounce in bounds, but they're just playing smarter volleyball right now. And if they can string together just one or two more clutch points here, we might get our first third set match of the day. Reilly, big high set. Phillips snapping off the top of the block. Phillips recycle. Kate Reilly set outside again. And Phillips with a thumb down swing across away from the running Kendra VanZwieten. Going to send her back to the line. 17-17. Kate Reilly with Molly Phillips at the net. Molly, a block right here would just be monumental.
A lot of dance on that float serve over towards Rice. Rice goes wrist away with that drop shot winner.
And the crunch time switch is upon us. 18-17, Kendra VanZwieten going to line. I expect her to go try to attack Molly Phillips down the inside seam here and really try to force a broken play. See if Molly Phillips can clutch up right here and really play out of her mind.
They serve deep over towards Phillips. Phillips lets her rip out of the pin. Way too much real estate for Phillips to put away a ball.
Yeah, and Molly Phillips finally looking like she's starting to read that block of Megan Rice, and she's finally starting to find that hand and push the ball away. And that was exactly what Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly needed right there. A great pass and just a big put away swing.
Another out-of-system play saved by Reilly, but a good set off the bump set. Ball goes over. Rice covers. Rice off the block and by Kate Reilly, 19-18.
Phillips and Reilly have at least done their job to keep this game within one. So Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten will need a reel to finish this match out if that's their goal. But Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly just need to keep siding out right now and then find a reel when they can and not force anything and give away an easy point.
Wow, look at that ace off the end line.
That's the point they couldn't give away. So Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly going to take a timeout quickly, try to regroup after that, and maybe try to ice the server here. Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten, 1 point away from a two-set sweep of Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly.
Yeah, even for the team that loses this match, their hopes are not lost, though they still can make it into the single elimination bracket and modified pool play. There just will be a higher seed or a lower seed.
Absolutely.
So we've got match points served to 18, and we're here at the WAUPACA Open. Still a handful of good matches remaining in the day. Again, coming up, Ashley Pater and Sarah Wood. We've got the current USC standout to the USC commit pairing. And then Macy Jurgen, a former Florida State standout, and Maddie Shields, beach time at Pepperdine and USC, part of that fourth national championship team for Dane Blanton's Beach Trojans last year.
Yeah, I'm sure Jacob Justice is somewhere right now. Sad he's not on the call with us, as his brother John Justice actually spent some time on the coaching staff as a volunteer assistant at Florida State while Macy Jurger was there. So yeah, long history between those two, and a lot of A lot of friendly words have been exchanged, so I'm sure Jacob's somewhere right now texting, sad that he's not on the call with us for that match.
We'll patch him in. He can text us. We'll say the things for him.
Nice pass by VanZwieten.
Diving dig by Reilly, which see what she does off the ball. VanZwieten pops it up. Rice on the free ball. Phillips, can she buy time? And she blasts it out of the right side.
So tie ball game. We're getting some extra points here in the second set. Kate Reilly going back to the line. The last couple of times she's kind of gone on for Megan Rice. Megan not passing perfect so far today. Let's see if they stay with that game plan here.
VanZwieten, perfect pass into the middle. Reilly gets a read on VanZwieten. Reilly hits it right at VanZwieten. Trap set, and Phillips feasting up top. That's a give me right there, and we got a reversal of fortune. Set point, Phillips and Reilly.
As you like to say, Rob, taking out the trash on that overpass. Molly Phillips able to just throw that one ball back down in between Megan and Kendra. So, yeah, all of a sudden a quick reversal and now a timeout by Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten, hoping that they can stave off a set win here for Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly to force a third set. You certainly don't want to go to 3 here. A lot of extra points, extra play that you don't want to burn out your body, as this is a very long tournament. Today, I think we'll conclude play somewhere around that 6 o'clock timeline there at WAUPACA in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. But tomorrow, one thing that the AVP WAUPACA Open has become known for is its Friday night under the lights, as this event does take place at a venue nowhere near a beach, so no sea turtles, as they are able to play under the lights, kind of as they do at Denver as well. So tomorrow, gameplay starting much later in the day, and we'll go into the night as we expect to see a phenomenal crowd there at AVP WAUPACA Open, as some people playing Friday and arriving late Friday for their play on Saturday will filter in and provide a electric environment there at the AVP WAUPACA Boat Ride Open Contender Series event.
VanZwieten, first set point for Phillips and Reilly, and we're tied blackjacks, 21s if the call is in, and looks like it is. Taylor, I was going to say, you said it could be an electric night, but it could also be a night where there could be a lot of water. There's rain forecasted for tomorrow at Oshkosh.
Yeah, and I actually was there last year at WAUPACA, and a historic rainstorm rolled in Saturday. Oh, a big pickup by VanZwieten.
Oh, they turned the tide again on the overdig for their third match point here in our match.
Yeah, last year there was a historic rainstorm that rolled in on Saturday and actually play what had to be suspended Saturday around 5 o'clock. So finals did not take place last year. I believe there was I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it was a 12-team tie for first place.
And what a transition put away after she sifts the ball out of the sand, gets a sweet set from Megan Rice, and VanZwieten puts it away through the uprights of Molly Phillips to grab that match.
Yeah, 23-21 in the second, 21-15 in the first. Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten taking care of business here in their second match of the day, taking down Molly Phillips and Kate Reilly. Not an easy task, but letting their veteran moves and veteran knowledge do its work, playing simple, clean volleyball, and just not getting rattled. Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly certainly have the tools to make a run, and they're not out by any stretch of the imagination now. So they are into the bracket just with a lower seed after that match, and they just need to clean up. They just need to find ways to earn easy points and not give up those big plays, right? We saw a 21-20 chance for them to win that second set, and then we saw the 21-21 tie-up, and then just two kind of simplistic points given up back-to-back to drop that second set and lose the match. So Molly Phillips, Kate Reilly, they both have the clutch gene. We've seen it before in Kate Reilly, certainly, and Molly Phillips, 2 national titles at Texas. So we just need to see a little bit more clutch ability, I would say, by those two. And Megan Rice, Kendra VanZwieten taking care of business as we know they can. Don't go anywhere. The next matchup here on Stadium Court, Ashley Pater, Sarah Wood, taking on Macy Jerger and Madison Shields. A phenomenal matchup here. Ashley Pater playing out of her mind over the last couple of weeks. Some partner switch-ups and playing around the horn, around the world, is going to put on a show here on Stadium Court. I am Taylor Wright coming to you from Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Rob Espero joining me on the call, coming to you from California, and we'll be right back after this.